Hello, welcome back to Eric's Welsh Garden. Today is the 17th of November. Autumn is in full swing here. Earlier in the week we had snow and luckily it melted within 24 hours and we've had so much rain. Now I'm just down at the plot and as you can see on my new allotment there's still loads and loads of prep that I need to be getting on with. But today I wanted to talk to you about how I'm planning on going no dig on this allotment and how I'm planning on doing it without spending very much money at all. So if you're familiar with my channel, you'll know that I took on this allotment back in about March time earlier this year. I dug it over, it looked absolutely beautiful. I put some onions in, I put some cabbages in, I put some broad beans in a little bit later. I also got some potatoes in the ground too. So I was really happy and planning on continuing really kind of down to the end of the plot, but mainly kind of focused on this top area here. And yeah, really happy with it. And then kind of overnight, well it seemed like overnight, but probably over a couple of weeks, the allotment just got covered in weeds and yeah, just completely went to rack and ruin basically. And I've done a couple of videos on that, so you're probably all getting a little bit sick of hearing me moaning about this plot. But I was very happy that I managed to get some potatoes out of it, some pumpkins, some squash and some onions. So it wasn't all, you know, it wasn't the end of the world. But yeah, things just got completely overgrown here. Also behind me you'll see there that there's loads of grass all over the place, and that is because we had some manure donated to us, or you know, we had a couple of truckloads of manure from a local farmer come in, and I just thought, well, I'm not really doing anything with the end of the plot, I'll just cover it with manure and hopefully kind of next year then I can just kind of plant straight into that. Well, as you can see, it's covered in grass now because manure is full of grass seeds. So it kind of, yeah, got me thinking that I need a really good solution for my allotment. And I've recently been getting into podcasts. I do quite a lot of driving and they're the perfect way to get your gardening fix when you're not able to do gardening or watch gardening programs or read gardening books. So I started listening to the Skinny Jean Gardener. Now I don't know if you're familiar with him. He is a podcaster, but he's also got a YouTube channel, so I'll put a link below to his channel, but also the podcast that I'm talking about, because he interviewed Stephanie Hafferty back, I'm not sure when it was, back earlier in the year, and it was a 40-minute podcast where basically she just talks about the reasons that she does no dig and why it's so beneficial. And I kind of like, I've heard about no dig before, I understand no dig's great for like the no weeds and everything's much easier, you can grow more plants from it and everything like that, but I never kind of really understood the science behind it. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about that, and like I said, I'll put a link to that below, but also to show you what I'm planning on doing with the allotment and what I've started to do in order to prepare my no dig allotment. But also one of the main things about this, and that came across in this podcast, was actually you don't have to do no dig by covering everything with cardboard and spending a load of money on buying in compost. You can actually do it pretty cheaply actually, and that is what I'm planning on doing. So as I said before, I had kind of really only ever thought of no dig being a really quick, easy solution for a, you know, weed-free allotment or garden. So basically, you know, putting all of the cardboard down, buy a load of compost in, chuck it on the top, put your plants in there, and your plants can do really well because there's no other weeds around. And that's kind of how I really ever saw no dig. But after listening to Stephanie talking about the science behind it, it really made me realise that actually going no dig is really important for conservation. And we know that the ground and the soil is made up of loads of really good bacteria and microrhizomes, all of which kind of interconnect with each other. They connect onto the roots of your plants and your trees, and they help those plants and trees, you know, take up nutrients, take up more water, and you know, they communicate with each other. You know, we don't know how yet, but they do. And actually every time we dig the soil, we're completely destroying that ecosystem. And then when we're planting into it, you know, our plants might do well because there's not many weeds around and stuff like that, but actually it does take them slightly longer to establish and they won't do quite as well. So that kind of made me think, well actually, yeah, that makes sense. And obviously an allotment is slightly different to a farmer that farms the same vegetables year in year out and ploughs the soil, but actually by ploughing the soil, you know, that really is damaging you know, the soil life so much. But anyway, it made me, you know, really think that actually, yeah, no dig is such an easy way to actually go about, you know, your conservation, getting better crops, and also, yeah, getting rid of those weeds. So I was here last week making some preparations on the how I'm planning on going no dig. So I'll show you what I did last week. So now I've got that part of the allotment covered. I've also got a part just in front of me here covered where an apple tree is. I'm planning on continuing all the way down to the bottom of the allotment so I can get it covered before Christmas. I'm really lucky that where I work has newspapers, so I can take pretty much as many of those as I want, and I've also got some cardboard at home. And then what I'm going to do is just leave it for, you know, for kind of the January, February time when we've got winter, and then I'm going to start thinking about planting into it. Now, you're probably wondering, you know, buying in compost is going to cost quite a lot of money, and I don't have the budget for that. So what I'm intending on doing is then just making a small hole into that newspaper and actually putting the plants straight into the ground below. I've dug it over already. It's not bad soil at all, and then all of the compost that I'll be putting on here will come from homemade compost, either at home or here. You know, I've got chickens at home as well, so I'm able to get that kind of fertilizer and compost and put it on here. I'm also planning on just making homemade fertilizers too, because it's absolutely free to do that, and you can make fertilizers out of weeds and stuff, and yeah, they are plentiful on this plot. So that is how I'm planning on going no dig for free. And I would really say that if you have the opportunity to look at the podcast or listen to the podcast below, then do have a listen to that, because she explains it way better than I do. I really hope you've enjoyed watching my video today, and I've hopefully inspired you to have a go at no dig, and also trying to do it without buying in lots of compost and spending lots of money. If you're new to my channel here and you have enjoyed this episode, please do hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you're notified of all of my latest videos. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye.